Even in the talking heads, I'm going to tuck in just because it's now tradition and I love tradition. So this video is actually kind of on a dime. There are moments of time that come across that are vital. And what's tough about these moments, especially when you're pushing so hard to get to where you want to go, it's crazy. It's almost like a force of the universe. Like it'll come at you and it almost will test you to see how bad you actually want this thing. And it's tough because people on the outside just don't get it. They don't have the understanding of how sensitive certain moments of time actually are. And when those nuggets of time, those gold nuggets of time come your way, it is your obligation to not falter. You do not flinch. You can't. And it sucks because it actually goes against your heart a little bit. And you guys know how I am. There are certain times, and it's a fine line. It's heavily nuanced, where you have to almost turn that off and just move with what actually matters. Because in the end, the thing that you are operating for is actually for the people that end up getting mad at you. Like you have to make more time for this and you have to make more time for that. Like, it's almost like, it's like guilt morality is how I like to word it. It's guilt morality. Like people will make you feel guilty for not doing certain things. And none of it is personal because especially if you're someone who has been in the driver's seat on something that is moving, it's so difficult because no one else gets it. And you have the most conviction in your life at these moments where you just have an abundance of conviction is probably the loneliest place to be on earth because you're alone in it. No one else actually gets it. They can kind of understand it in theory, but until you're actually in it, you don't get how sensitive the time is. Because the moment you decide to take your foot off the gas, you lose all momentum. And momentum is the strongest force in the universe. And it's your job to take the pedal to the metal and close out everything for that time. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, if you get to where you want to go, I promise you a lot of the relationships that you may have undone or kind of messed up a little bit along the way, you can fix those. But what you can't fix is the opportunity that came on your plate. And a lot of this stuff is, you don't get a lot of those opportunities in life. You don't. And you have to understand that you are making decisions for everybody else on the back end. Everybody else will thank you for it on the back end, saying, I know you could do it and I knew you could do this. But what they don't realize is in the moment, they're actually making it super difficult on you. And this is where I think a lot of people get it mixed up. They turn resentful. They get angry at those people and they hold that anger onto their hearts. But you have to understand where they're coming from. And this isn't me like putting, you don't put yourself on a pedestal like, because I know better. It's not that. It's the exact opposite. You just understand what you are in and they do not. It is objective reality. And it's your job to then move the way you need to be moving. Regardless of what people think, regardless of how people respond to it, if feelings get hurt, because none of it's personal. When you're in it, you know this. When everyone's always been on that where it's like things are just clicking and people want to take you off. They want to talk you down. And it's your job to just sit in it. And the reason why people bow out is because the loneliness is heavy. That is my personal theory on it. I think it's so heavy for some people that they're like, I know I'm right, but honestly, I'd rather pin my loss on somebody else because sitting in this is just too much tension. And that's why those things that everybody wants in life are for the people that are willing to go through that. It's the price you have to pay. You signed on the dotted line and some people break the contract to themselves. And then they wonder why in the back end, everything's always like, I could have and I wish I would have and only if I should have done this. And dude, what if? Imagination versus reality. I personally have never been the type that I can't fake things. It's hard. Like I'll end up fizzling out. Like even if I'm trying to pretend I'm having a great time when I'm not. I can do that for a few strings, but eventually that's just my cup fills up and I just overflow and then I just self-sabotage. It's real. It's so real. And the problem is nobody else gets it. And then finally you get to a point where it's not anyone else's job to get it because it's your path. How can I get angry or resentful towards people that aren't on the same path as me? It sucks because a lot of the people, at least for me, a lot of people get, shot down from like comments online. And I never got why that hurt people's feelings because the thing that hurts most is when people are closest to you do that to you. That, in my opinion, is like 100x some random Anon account that's telling me, hey, I hate you, or dude, stop lying, you're on a trend cycle. You know, like that shit doesn't matter to me, because when you've gotten that in real life, there is nothing that cuts you deeper, and it calluses you. And then you become a lot more just understanding of just, this is how the shit works. And if you want it, you want it. If you don't, and you can't handle it, you can't handle it. But kind of bringing it back full circle, it's not anyone else's job to get it, but it's your job to stay strong. You have to stay strong. And the thing is, it's funny, a lot of people go super serious mode. And that's something I had a natural knack for. I'd always go super serious in those moments. But if you can play with it, you're gonna have a playful feel towards it. It's the best middle to be. For me, I can't fake that energy. I genuinely feel that way just because in my head, like when you push so hard towards something, you don't have the ability to even give a shit about bullshit. You don't. Because you're pushing so hard that the bandwidth you have for bullshit just literally disappears. And that's why I always talk about to you guys, like, empty the damn energy clip. Because that's what it allows you to do. It allows you to move with the voice that's actually real to move forward. These are all very normal parts of the journey. But you signed up for it. Those willing to sit in the tension of the situation for an extended period of time get all of the beauties of life. But you gotta earn it. And you gotta want it. And you have to sit in the shit.